All right, peace, Sharonda. How you doing? Welcome, welcome from Florida. Okay, cool. All right. Who else do we have on the line? All right, let me know. Diana, if I'm saying your name correctly, in Ohio. What's up? Peace. Welcome, welcome. All right. Y'all have any herbs that y'all are feeling tonight or any herbs that are resonating with you? Lanita, where you coming from today?
Oh, somebody feeling some goldenrod. That's my herb there.
Hey.
Uh, it's Dana. That's what I thought they looked like, Dana. Okay, Dana, we got you. uh, I'm calling in from Frankfurt. It's only 2 a.m. in the morning here.
The Hard Herbalist Lounge person. Cool. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm feeling some, let's see what I'm feeling. Star of anise. I'm feeling some licorice kind of flavor tonight.
Nice.
What you feeling tonight, Asia?
Hmm. You know, and I'm over in where am I? In Illinois by St. Louis. The time I don't know. I'm in my body though. Let's see. I'm feeling always ginger, but like I was making my little mix that I've been making lately, and I
Mhm.
just a little bit of that orange blossom flower in it, and it's nice. It's nice.
Oh,
So yeah.
that orange blossom. Yeah, I just found some sweet orange essential oil, and that's really nice.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, I'm like, since this time has changed and it's just dark over here,
Hmm.
I just try to get up all the vitamin C and everything that represents the sun in my mind, in my body.
Definitely.
All right. All right, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Your mics are already muted, but we just say it for GP. And so this is recorded and we posted a little bit later on our YouTube channel. But welcome everybody. So please mute your mics. And our discussion is about 30 minutes. So tonight we're talking about debunking herbal myths. And again, this is always a discussion. It's definitely not a lecture. It is a lounge. So just envision walking into a lounge and the smell of your favorite herb hits you and surrounds you, and the music you love is playing, and you go to the bar, the herbal bar, and you can pick from your desire of tinctures or drinks or bath and body butters and oils and things like that. And then you go and you sit down and you're amongst herbal friends and y'all have these cool discussions about the latest herbs you've been dealing with, questions you have about it, and just everything surrounding herbs. So just think of it like that. That's what this is, but the online version. All right. So tonight, your facilitators are I'm Asia, that's my voice here, and we have
Anita.
Anita.
Normally rocking Texas, but now I'm in Frankfurt, Germany.
Hey, and also Martina, she couldn't make it tonight, but she is definitely here in spirit. So
Yep.
Martina is another facilitator that is with us every second Monday of the month. All right. So we're going to start to talk about our myths, but also we want to give everybody in the chat some time to, to talk about like what are some of the myths that you heard about herbs? What are some of the things that you wondered, like, is that true? Are you sure? Or you tried it and you that doesn't work for me. So what are some of the things that you've experienced?
Oh, come on. I know y'all done heard some myths. Let's see.
It doesn't, they don't work.
Mhm.
I think in my own family, oh, that's just grass or just weeds.
Yes.
This is grass and weeds. My mother would call it. My aunt will say hocus pocus. The hocus pocus stuff don't work. Like the herbs, the hocus pocus stuff doesn't work. That's what I can think of right now.
Yes, all of those. Yes. Yes, definitely. Like herbs a week and it wasn't prescribed by a doctor, so why would it work,
Mhm.
Mhm.
Or they call you a hoodoo woman.
That's a compliment. But yes, yeah, definitely. If my family says that, it's not a compliment though. Like you working them roots. I'm
That's it.
like,
Well,
thank you.
thank you for recognizing.
Mhm. Yes. All right. So we're gonna start with that first one then. We're gonna get into it. So one of the myths that we want to talk about tonight is dosage. Um, so the more herbs you use, the more powerful and more potent your concoction is. And while that can be true, really what I want to touch on is, and it depends on the herbs, but a little can go a long way. So
That's right.
if you deal with like gentian, like, I mean, do you want a teaspoon of gentian or do you want a cup?
Mhm.
So it's like, and that's what I found. Like, so sometimes, like when calendula, for instance, I like to make calendula oil. And, when I learned more about like proper dosing and weighing out the herbs, definitely, and it could even be to the extent to where you're not weighing out, but like you using what I call the granny method. It's just like you put this recipe together until you hear that your ancestors' voice say, okay, that's enough. But still, either way that you use, like I can be very heavy handed and like fill up a whole pot of herbs. But what I had to learn and consider is, Asia, can you grind these herbs down to create more surface area so that like if you're using water or oil, you that medium, whatever it is, or alcohol, that medium is, able to extract more because these herbs are ground down, and it's able to pull out more of the nutrient content and the benefits that I'm looking for at the time. Or it's like, if I am filling up a whole pot, is the middle of the herb, like is the water touching that? Is the oil touching that? Like, am I even using it? Like, is the middle of the herb dry? So is anything being extracted from that? And so that was a lot that I had to consider and look at because, I mean, again, do I want a tablespoon of calendula to a cup, or do I want a whole cup in a cup of calendula? And as you know, you put a whole cup of calendula in a cup and you try to put oil, it's just not going to work. So,
Mhm.
definitely considering the dosage and how to use those herbs. And then again, on certain herbs, can you do things to create more of a surface area? Or can you possibly, depending on the herb, if it's a bark or what have you, if you're grinding it down, can you leave it in the whatever medium you're using, the mark that you're using, whether it's again water, oil, or alcohol or vinegar, what have you? Can you leave it just a little bit longer to where you're not using up so much of that herb? So, what's your take on it, Lanita?
Definitely. I was thinking about, especially when you said bark. there are certain instances when you're using bark and you're doing a decoction and you have to cook it down for so long, you don't want to use a large amount of it because it's already concentrated enough coming out of there. And then when you cook it down in the decoction, you make it more concentrated. So you definitely, want to use the prescribed amount or to know the amount that you use. Less is more on those instances. So even willow bark in a sweat lodge, you don't want to put too much of it in there because the acetylsalicylic acid is released with the steam from the sweat lodge. So sometimes less is more. And then some herbs, it doesn't matter. You could pile a whole bunch of it in there and it's just going to be the same one way or the other. So, and that's mainly like when you're eating the herbs, you have to be careful with um, how much when you're foraging out there, what you're eating, or when you're chewing on something, or definitely going to that cayenne. You want to be reasonable with the amount of cayenne you use.
Well,
So,
that's good. Because I just want a pinch of cayenne. I want a whole bunch.
that's right.
That take you to a whole different level.
Uh-huh.
Hmm. All right. So I'm gonna go to myth two, and if y'all have anything that y'all want to add to that, please feel free to do so.
And jump in here. All right. Not myth number two. Not all herbs treat diabetes. So when you're learning your herbs and looking the herbs, if you look up the definition, 9 times out of 10, whatever herb you're looking at, they're gonna say that it's good, it can help with diabetes, or they're studying it for cancer. And not all herbs can treat diabetes. So when they say it can help with diabetes, yes, it can, but you don't want that to be your main source. So, be very methodical when you're looking at herbs and their uses. Find out the mechanism of how does it work. Some of them can help decrease the sugar in your blood. Some of them can help your body more efficiently use the sugar that's in your blood. But not all herbs are treating diabetes. So, on the slide we have up there, we got some cinnamon. Cinnamon definitely does help with moving the sugar from the blood into the cell, but by no means is it going to replace your, diabetes medication. So yes, diet can help, but all the herbs that they tell you that can help diabetes definitely are not capable of replacing your medicines. So you can change your diet. You can, add herbs to supplement, but it's not a cure for diabetes. But there are some that are specific and really do help. But when you're looking up herbs, they will definitely, most of them will tell you that they help with diabetes and it's being studied for cancer.
Hmm. I'm glad you went into that in that way because it was
Yeah.
like yesterday we were talking about that in diabetes and other
Uh-huh.
conditions as well too. It's like
Uh-huh.
they'll put out the researchers, and sometimes you'll read the abstract because some of the research is not made available to the public.
Uh-huh.
And so, they'll put it behind a paywall or, education institution or what have you. But it's like you'll read the abstract and they might say, we have found that, X herb is, you know, I'm trying to stay away from that C word, but uh, it can assist in, you know, with this disease, you know. And so, but when you start to dig into the actual research, the abstract in the actual research does not match. And so sometimes, like, we'll take, this is just any and everybody, it could be anybody, but we can take the information from that abstract, what is presented to us in a very concise manner and not fully fleshed out, and say, oh yeah, this thing is a cure for this thing, or this herb, you know, helps with this thing. And that's not the full extent of the research.
And Sharonda said tonight she was vibing with some goldenrod. We're talking about myths about what cures and not, comparing goldenrod and juniper. Juniper berries are used, we all know that they're used to flavor gin. If you didn't know that, that's the flavor of gin, juniper berries. But if you start researching the juniper, they'll tell you that it's good for the kidneys. And yeah, it is good for the kidneys up to a certain point, and then it can be toxic to the kidneys. The goldenrod, they'll tell you that it's good for the kidneys, but goldenrod is a great diuretic. It'll help you relieve, start filtering through the kidneys, and it's great for bladder infections or things of that nature. But goldenrod is not really helping to build the kidneys. Unlike juniper, it's not going to tear it down, but it will help to get the kidneys flushing, getting the water through the kidneys, and thereby helping. So you have to, when you read information about that, go deep. Don't be afraid to check 2 or 3 sources, because one may say it's good and one may say it's not. And some of the sites that are talking about herbs are actually pharmaceutical companies who tell you it doesn't work. Reason it doesn't work is because they couldn't make a synthetic one. And the natural herb works great, but your synthetic herb, what doesn't work.
You know, that's a good point. And I mean, even just going back to that, like, you know, the pharmaceutical companies, because they pay for research, but it's just like, sometimes you have to look at who did this research in order to sometimes gain an understanding of why the outcome may have turned out a certain way. I mean,
Right.
very certain interests, maybe, but, you know, is it a double blind study? You know, so, you know, there's so much that has to go into that. And did we get into the topic of, sometimes you have to look at more than one herb. Sometimes you have to do combinations of herbs to kind of help in the healing process. Did we talk? Okay.
Yeah, that definitely for the healing process. You don't just, say one thing works. Yeah, no. Every herb doesn't work for everybody, you know. What may work great for you may not work at all for me.
That's so true. Look, I'm start getting into doctrine of signatures. So I see people coming in. So peace everybody that just came in. Definitely welcome you. If you want to say anything, you are more than welcome to speak up or type it in the chat. Yeah, we're talking about myths, and you know, we're on the second myth, 2 of 3. But if there's any you all have, you know, encountered surrounding herbs, then definitely talk about it. And yes, peace, Sharonda. Thank you for tuning in. All right. Yes. So, okay, Lanita, you just said myth number 3, all herbs safe. and they work for everyone.
Yeah. Nah, don't fall into that. Don't believe the hype on that one.
Mm, mm, mm.
Know your herbs. And, you know, herbs are kind of like herbalists too. Not all herbalists work for everybody either. So, you know, you want to be conscious of the area that you're in, and the herbs in your area may work better for you than having something imported from India.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, that's a great point. And
uh,
just like, not everybody's for everyone. It's like that, like Martina loves bitters, right?
uh-huh.
And I imagine at this point in her life, she can probably consume more bitters than I can.
Definitely.
Because her body has more so adapted to bitters because she's over
Uh-huh.
time, she ingests bitters more at a more of a rate than I do. And I
Uh-huh.
take in bitters, but I mean, might I take in a lot less? Yes. Might my stomach
Uh-huh.
be like, girl, do you think you Martina right now? Because we're about to bubble. But on the other scale, I might be able to encounter and deal with more aromatics than she, because
Right.
I deal with aromatics all the time. um,
Uh-huh.
so like, of course, when it comes to like mixing herbs, like I'll be in the kitchen mixing herbs, and the folks that live in my house, they be coughing and gagging. I'm just like, what? So again, not all herbs are safe and like work for everyone.
And there are times in the life where a herb may be have good for you. It may have worked before, but now it's not safe for you. And those cases are definitely during pregnancy. The herbs that you normally can take, you have to be very careful about, um, taking herbs during pregnancy and while nursing. Some herbs that are safe for you may not be safe for the baby, and they may get into your milk. So you have to be careful with herbs, at those times. Also, if you are on any type of medication, there are some herbs that interact with medications. So definitely be sure that you check into an herb to see if there any interactions with other medications that you shouldn't. Yes, that ginger. Um, a lot of women are told to take ginger for that morning sickness. And ginger is a great herb to help with nausea, but too much ginger, going back to dosages, too much ginger can cause smooth muscle contraction and can cause you to lose a pregnancy. So that's why I say not all herbs are safe for everyone all the time.
Yes, so true. And those are excellent points that you brought up, because, it's just like some of us herbalists, we're into consulting, and, we get people that approach us all the time, and they're like, what
Mm-hmm.
herb is good for X, Y, and Z?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times I won't tell them an herb until I know a lot of information about them, because
Exactly.
if they are on medication, I mean, ginger, since we're on that topic,
Mm-hmm.
it might it might be a contraindication to that herb.
Mm-hmm.
It might, either make the medication work less, or could make it stronger.
That's right.
Uh-huh. And so it's like we have to know that about people, and get to know what counteracts. And I remember reading some about grapefruit juice, what that can medications. So there's all different types of things for people in all different types walks of life. And again, location is important. Uh, you know, and even going to what was I just kind of lost my train of thought, but uh, going to like I've heard over the years people have discussed red raspberry leaf in pregnancy. What months do you take that? And some people have said, "Oh, I've taken it all through my pregnancy, or I've not taken it the first trimester, but it's worked here, or I've only taken it like the last 2 weeks of my pregnancy." So, it's like we really have to get to know what's going on with that person and their body and what their situation is.
Yeah, definitely. I was working with an acacia herb, occidentalis, and it's great for, they actually use it to help with infertility. It helps clean out the uterus. It helps prepare for pregnancy. It's also good as a laxative. But people were eating it because is in cooking it as greens because it tastes like some good pot liquor from some greens. But children actually got arsenic poison. So an adult can eat as much as they want of it and they're okay. But a child can't eat nearly as much as an adult, but it tastes good. So it's kind of hard to gauge how much is too much. But you don't want to give that to children.
Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. And another point I had thought of is, definitely when we look at the marketing of herbs and capitalism in general, it's marketing is a big part of that. So, and not to step on anybody's toes, but like we think about some very popular herbs in the media. So like lavender is definitely, everybody knows what lavender is, but there are people that are allergic to lavender. I know someone who was so allergic to lavender. Like when I made soap, I had to make sure that I didn't mix my batches. Like if she was going to use my soap, like I should not open lavender at all because she would break out in hives. And that's the opposite reaction of what we would think that lavender would do to somebody, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
So it's like, lavender is definitely a popular and well-known herb, but it doesn't work for everybody. Again, ginger or like even stuff like sea moss or chamomile. But sometimes when we think about that and like what was it? It is on my mind. White sage. There we go. So some of these things hit the media and it changes the lifespan or the way that this herb is grown and or manufactured to the world. And sometimes, it becomes something that is not good for us in the end because everybody is like, oh, let me get this, let me benefit from this, let me take and take and take. But then where's the replenishment? And then again, when we think about marketing and making money and doing all these things, then in the industry on the backside, they're like, okay, well, we need to grow this stuff quickly and now. So
looking for shortcuts.
yeah, so how do we grow it quickly, in abundance so that we can get more profit? Like, do we, give these herbs unnecessary fertilizers that in the end, don't benefit the people that are trying to get it? Do we go and, go to a different source that does not have the same type of pride or practices that the people that were originally working with this herb, they don't have that same appreciation. So like, this might be filled with pesticides. Um, so it's like we have to consider all of those things. So like when we're interacting with an herb that is just popular, it's like we really have to consider the source. And is there another herb that's less popular that's in our area that we can use that's still, genuine or, maybe true to its source and it hasn't been touched or
Mhm.
made for manufacturing and marketing. So I think that's an important thing that we also have to remember because
I've run into that
Mhm.
with echinacea.
Mhm.
Echinacea is great for immunity, but it's so overused. And where I live, we have black-eyed Susan. The black-eyed Susan is actually even better than echinacea for immunity building. So, hey, use that black-eyed Susan out there. You don't need to have the echinacea that's either manufactured in a farm or used with pesticides or grown with other growth materials that are not natural. The black-eyed Susan is everywhere, just popping up in your fields. Get you some.
Mhm. Excellent point. Okay. All right. All right. So, do we have any other myths that we want to share? We want to talk about, want to bring up?
Yeah, y'all got any myths? I know y'all done heard something.
Okay. All right. Well, if you still have something, feel free to speak up or type it in the chat and we'll shout it out. All right, I'm gonna move forward. So we have upcoming events. What's going on in the world? Okay, so we have the Herbalist Lounge YouTube channel. It is popping. All you have to do is go to YouTube and put Herbalist Lounge or at Herbalist Lounge, and we'll pop up. You'll see our logo that is up at the top there, and you can subscribe. So if you didn't catch all of the Herbalist Lounge or you want to share it with other folks, then definitely feel free to tune in because we do upload the Herbalist Lounge. We upload different videos. So what was your latest video, Lenita, that you just uploaded?
uh, Using roses for beauty.
Mhm.
Yeah, making a rose, making facials out of rose, facial powder, and rose water. Oops,
All right, you good? I
there
was.
we go. That YouTube.
All right. So yeah, all kind of good stuff on there, and more to come. All right. And we still have our kitchen medicine making course, and that is on Thinkific. Everything is pretty much it's Herbalist Lounge, so herbalist-lounge.thinkific.com. So that's available. And definitely it's available. It's there. We talk about all kind of good stuff in there. So if you haven't checked it out, please do. Lanita made herbal popsicles. I made mushroom raw. Let's see, Martina, she made some beauty products. Refresh
Poultices.
their poultices. There we go.
Mhm.
So all kinds of good remedies that you can just find in your kitchen, and you don't have to do anything special uh, to to make that happen. All right. And last but not least, well, almost last, but still not least. So some of you got that link today in your inbox, and it was a clickable link. And so most of the time when the Herbalist Lounge is about to go up, we'll post it on social media, but you don't have something that you could just click on and go straight to Zoom. If you subscribe to the email, then it'll take you straight there. So we typically will send that out right before the Herbalist Lounge, so you can just go straight to where we are. So I'm gonna take a second to type that in. And Lenita, you have anything else that you wanted to add?
Well, the Herbalist Lounge meets every second Monday of the month. So, and if you miss it, you can check out the recording on the YouTube channel. So we just hang out, we talk about herbs, we talk about how we're using them, how we gather them. So, just come hang out with us and herb out.
Yes, definitely herb nerd out, because that's what we like to talk about all day, every day. All right. Does anybody else have any like community events or anything else that they want to shout out while we are here? And also, I just, while you all might be typing or getting ready to say anything, I definitely want to remind everybody that this is a community space. And we always like to exchange information. So if you have like a social media handle that you want to share, then definitely put it in the chat. If you have an email address that you want to share, put it in the chat, and that'll all help us to connect on different platforms, not just Zoom or any one of the other platforms. We'll be able to make herbal connections and community connections across many different platforms. So you are more than welcome to type in where you can be found. And again, if you have anything up and coming, you are more than welcome to say what's going on in your neck of the woods.
Hello, ladies. My name is Lauren Dixon. I'm with More Magic. And I just want to say thank you for the conversation, the importance of, debunking these myths with herbal use, just the knowledge and information about drug-drug interaction, understanding drug-herb interaction, herb-herb interaction, speaking about adulterants and, making sure that you have the correct herb, quality assurance and everything is very important, especially like when, like as we are transitioning from conventional to the integrative medicine and everything. And I just want to say how it's important and just thank you so much for opening this space for this conversation.
All right, then. Yeah, glad to have you. Sound like you knowledgeable too. So, we all have to share what we got.
Yeah, most definitely. Thank you for tuning in, because all of what you just talked about is so important to acknowledge. And you're right. It seems like we are transitioning to more of an integrative approach, because sometimes people feel that maybe this medium, maybe the medical industry is not working for me, so let me go try something else, or let me incorporate herbs and definitely see how that works. So as people start to gain more curiosity, definitely the herb and drug interaction is a super important one. So thank you for bringing that up, Lauren, and thank you for being here.
Most welcome. Thank you for having me. And yes, and even getting back to the ancestral roots and like root medicine and knowing what your ancestors used, like making sure it works for you, because again, not all bodies, we change through different generations, different metabolites are on and off, and just is just so important. So thank you again.
Yes.
That's right. And different diets. Our food is changing so much that our healthcare is like out the window when you talk just about our diet and how the foods that we eat no longer have the same amount of nutrition. I don't let me fall down that rabbit hole.
I know that's a good rabbit hole to fall down. All right. All right. So just allowing, yes, perfect. Just allowing everyone to share their information. so that we can all keep in touch. And I am taking a picture too, so that I'll have it after this chat ends. But again, we'll post this up on our YouTube channel. So if you missed part of it and you want to catch the other part, then definitely tune in. And usually we'll upload that in the same week. So yes. So again, thank you all for being here. We do this every second Monday of the month, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then wherever you are in the world, calculated from
2
there.
a.m. in Germany.
2 a.m., 3 a.m. But yes, and yes, please share with your herbal-minded friends and the herb curious, because definitely we want to continue to build this community. All right, thank you again, and peace, power, and green blessings.
Peace, y'all.